Hey everybody, it's Sharmel. Welcome back to Locs Lifestyle. Today I am here with a loc Q&A of some of my most asked questions in regards to my loc journey. So let's get started.
As the sun shines on all of my glory, my flaws don't look so bad at all. What was I so afraid of?
So as many of you may know, if you've been keeping up with my videos, I am currently on a loc journey. I am almost 11 months. I started my locs last year and I have documented the entire process. So in a lot of my videos, I try to be as thorough as possible, but I still do get some of the same questions. So I decided to put together a video of just some of the most commonly asked questions when it comes to me and my journey. I also mentioned in my last update video, if you had any questions you wanted to add to the video, to let me know. So yeah, we're gonna get started on those questions right now. All right, so the first question I get asked a lot is about my intro song. So in my intro on all of my videos, there's a song that plays, a snippet of a quick song that plays, and the song is Jazmine Sullivan, Masterpiece. I love Jazmine Sullivan, love her music, love that song. The version that I use actually though on my intro is a live acoustic version that I found of her singing here on YouTube, and then I, distorted the voice a little bit, sped it up so that I wouldn't have to worry about being copyrighted. But yes, the actual song is Jazmine Sullivan, Masterpiece. So this next question is probably like my most asked question on any of my hair videos, and I feel like I always mention it in all of my styling videos, but somehow, I just keep seeing this question pop up. So, many of you want to know what I use on my edges, on my baby hairs. You guys are always complimenting me on my baby hairs and my edges. Y'all always telling me that they laid. Thank you very much. And the product that I use on my edges is the Style Factor Edge Booster. This right here. So this is like my favorite edge control to use. I've been using this for like over a year now. I started using this before I even decided to lock my hair, and this is like the only edge control that does me justice. It keeps my hair laid down for most of the day. Every now and then I'll get a little build up with it, but out of all the edge controls that I have tried, this is my number one, my favorite. Again, this is the Style Factor Edge Booster. I purchased this at my local beauty supply. It costs $9.99. I use the white bottle, and this is the coconut banana scent. It has a hold of 5 out of 5 on their little scale. Yes, it comes in different colors, and the colors just are different scents. However, I just usually stick with the white bottle. This is the first scent I tried, the first one, and it never did me wrong, so I'm like, let me just stick with this one. So yes, this is what I have on my edges. In every video that you see, I have the Style Factor Edge Boost on my edges. Now keep in mind, when it comes to like edge controls and dealing with your edges, different products work better for different people. Everyone's hair is different. I hear a lot of people rave about this. I've also seen some people who didn't like it. So it's one of the things that you just kind of got to try out and see how it works for you. But this one works for me. But in addition to using the Style Factor Edge Booster, there are other things that I do to manage my edges, especially with my locs. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips. So the first thing that I swear by is clean edges and clean utensils. I try to make sure that I wash or clean my edges, a few times out of the week. And when I wash it, I'm not like washing my full head, but usually when I wash my face at night or in the morning, or if I take a shower, I usually kind of just slide my bonnet back, my headscarf back, and allow my edges to be exposed so that, I can get some water on them and clean them off. I just feel like my hair typically lays better when my hair is clean. If I have too much product built up on it, like I feel like my edges do not last all day. And this is also very important too, especially as it relates to locs, just because when you're using products on your hair, it makes your locs more prone to build up, and you don't want to have build up in your locs. So if you are going to wear edge controls or put any type of product regularly on your edges, you want to make sure that you're keeping it clean. When I don't do anything to my hair, I don't use the edge control, but if I am wearing like edge control on a daily basis, I am making sure I clean my edges regularly. And the same thing with my edge control brush. our hair holds product, your edge control brushes hold product. And I know some people swear by a dirty brush, I just can't do it. When my edge control brush has too much build up on it, I feel like it just doesn't lay properly. The build up is, you're transferring it to your hair and it's just a mess. So yes, clean edges and clean edge control brush. And the next thing that I do is that I make sure I tie my hair down every night. So I know a lot of us are bonnet wearers, and bonnets are cool, definitely for locks. However, I also like to make sure I at least tie this part of my head down like with just a satin scarf, just because I feel like it kind of trains my edges in a sense. I feel like when I wear the bonnet, it just kind of like sits and just kind of creates a line of demarcation, and it just makes it frizzy. But if I use a satin scarf to tie this down, it'll just make my job easier when it comes to laying my hair the next morning. That is just like the quickest way that I can go through my edges, my baby hair routine, and all of that. You guys ask me this question so many times. So yes, that is what I use on my edges, and that is how I maintain and take care of my hairline. Okay, and I also just make sure, you know, I'll keep it oiled and moisturized, like when I spritz it and hydrate it and all that other stuff. But yes, this is just a little extraness I do for my edges. Another question I get asked pretty frequently is, how many locks do I have? And this question always baffles me, because if you check the description box on any of my lock videos, I have a quick synopsis about, you know, my locks, my start date, my lock count. So everybody stop right now, go to the description box and let me know what it says in the description box. I'll give y'all a few seconds to do it. Did you see? Did you see? So yes, when it comes to my locks, if you look in the description box, it says 81-ish. I thought I started my lock journey with like maybe 82 or 83 locks, but around month 7 or 8, I ended up combing out one of my locks. I have a couple of locks in the back of my head that are kind of on the thinner side, just because my hairline, just the perimeter of my head is naturally finer, and I had one lock back here specifically that was really bothering me. So I ended up combing it out, and I combined that hair with another lock, which was another one of my questions. Have I combed out any of my locks and combined them? Yes, I have. It was one lock back here that I did it with. So that kind of changed my lock count. And also back in February, when I did the box braids over my starter locks, I did some math because I was trying to see how many braids I would have, you know, if I divided my locks by 3. Anyways, I did some math to figure out the install, and my count ended up being off in regards to how many braids I wanted and how many locks I thought I had. So honestly, I really don't know how many locks I have at this very moment, but it is between like 81 and 83. So that's why the description box says 81-ish, because it's somewhere around that number. But I plan on doing a lock count video really soon, just so I can have like an accurate number for when you guys ask me about it. So yeah, stay tuned and make sure you're subscribed to be on the lookout for my lock count video. So the next question is kind of more so in regards to someone's personal lock journey, and they had questions about their hair. I believe you said that you have thinner hair and you just wanted tips on styling and maintaining like thinner and shorter locks. So yes, we're going to talk about how to deal with thin locks and ways to style and maintain them. If you have thin or finer hair and you want your locks to look thicker and fuller, I definitely recommend doing a smaller amount of locks compared to like a bunch of locks in your head. So I think by doing a smaller amount of locks, you definitely started off in the right direction. When it comes to thin hair, like my hair isn't super thin or fine, but like I previously mentioned, I have thinner edges, finer edges and stuff all around my perimeter. In addition to that, I also started my lock journey with heat damage, and so I feel like it's one of those things that you kind of have to ride out. You have to give it time to see how your hair is going to transform. Basically, like this part of my hair, like I was really nervous about these locks in the front, because when I first started my lock journey, they were very stringy. Even now, these locks are a lot skinnier than like the locks in the middle of my head. But what I can say is that, you know, month 11 compared to the first month, they have definitely thickened up and fluffed out a bit. So first at least give them a good like 4 to 5 months to see how they're maturing. And then if that doesn't work, I would recommend combing some of them out and combining some of them so you have even thicker locks. So if your goal is to have like really thick and full locks, then you want to comb some more out and combine them so that they look fuller. But you definitely have to give it time. It's not something that happens like immediately, and I know it can be frustrating. And lastly, I would just recommend going to see a loctician, allowing a professional to look at your hair to really assess it and give you better options. I don't know what your hair looks like, so it's kind of hard for me to like give like a full opinion, but I do think when it comes to your locks thickening up and for them to look fuller, it's one of them things that you just kind of have to wait and allow the process to happen. Now, when it comes to styling thinner or shorter locks, it's another thing where you kind of have to embrace. I personally just would turn my little thin locks into bangs. So I still wear my hair like that to this day, actually, where I just, you know, let a few down in the front and make them look like bangs. If your hair is not really long enough to even look like a bang, I would recommend barrel twist styles, which I actually have some in now. So barrel twist styles just kind of allow you to tuck your locks in so, you know, you can't see them. You don't really have to look at them being short or anything like that. Yeah, and I have another video too where I talk all about protective styles over your locks, such as wigs, box braids, faux locks, all of that. So I recommend you going to check out that video, which I will link up here as well in the description box if you are interested in just some other options. And speaking of protective styles, I also get a lot of questions in regards to my protective styles, specifically like the faux locks and the Marley twist that I did over my locks. One of the main questions I get in regards to like the faux locks and stuff is how long do I keep them in? Again, I go over this in my protective style video, but I'll just speak on it briefly again. So I usually only wear those protective styles for like 2 to 3 weeks. I do not keep those styles in long. In general, I like to switch my hair up and change it. So by the 2nd week, the 3rd week, I'm over the hairstyle anyways. But yeah, I personally wouldn't recommend keeping them in for more than 4 weeks. Another question I get in regards to protective styling is how soon is too soon to install like box braids or faux locks. I personally waited until I was about 4 months into my journey, but I feel like if your hair is still unraveling at the ends or they're not staying put, I personally wouldn't recommend putting a protective style over it because you are going to delay the process of your hair locking. So if you have coils and your coils aren't really set and they easily unravel, I would say hold off. So yes, for me, that was around like month 4 when I felt like my hair was tangled enough for it to handle a protective style. And another thing I see pop up pretty often when it comes to like my protective style is my use of rubber bands. Let me say this before I go any further. I have always been more of a free spirit when it comes to my hair. So there are things that I do with my hair that some people may not be. I've never been the type to be like super restricted about what I will and won't do to my hair. So I want to say that before I go on to my spiel about rubber bands. So a lot of my protective styles, like when I did the faux locks and when I did the Marley twist, I used like these small black rubber bands. And so some people have commented about it causing damage. Do rubber bands cause damage on your hair? So let me openly say that the small black rubber bands do have the potential to cause damage. They do have the potential to cause breakage. I'm not denying that at all. Black rubber bands can cause breakage and damage to your hair. However, I don't think that if you do it one time or if you do it here and there that you're going to cause significant damage to your hair. There are things that you can do to prevent that damage from happening. So one thing that I like to do, in which I stated in all of these videos, is that I like to soak my black rubber bands in oil prior to using them to install in my head. When I soak those rubber bands in the oil before applying them on my head, by the time it's time to take out the protective style, most of those rubber bands have already popped, or as soon as I tug on them a little bit, they pop on their own. And then obviously you want to be gentle and delicate when removing them from their hair. You want to make sure that none of your hair is like tangled and wrapped in the rubber band. So just like with anything, repetitive usage and just like not properly taking care of your hair can obviously lead to damage, but I personally haven't experienced any breakage or damage due to using the rubber band method for certain protective styles when it comes to my locks. Next question is about buildup. Have I experienced any buildup so far on my hair? I have not noticed any noticeable buildup in my hair. I just tried a new retwisting product recently, which is a butter, and I know a lot of you were saying to be careful with butters, but other than testing out that retwisting product, I don't really try to use too many products in my hair. I usually stick with oil and water, honestly. Obviously when I shampoo, I use my shampoo, and sometimes I use conditioner, but I always make sure to rinse my hair out really good. If you're using any products on your hair, you want to make sure that you're washing your hair pretty often and that you're completely rinsing products out your hair when you wash them. I also get questions about unraveling, if I experienced any of my locks unraveling early in my journey. So if you're unfamiliar, I did start my journey with 2-strand twist, and personally I did not really experience any unraveling, especially at least not from like the tips of my hair. I did have one lock in particular which was on the side of my head. So if you watch my journey in the beginning, I told you guys that I originally twisted some of my locks the wrong way. So within that first week of my starter locks, I had to go in and retwist some of them the correct way. And because of that, I had one lock over here that would kind of unravel, just because I guess it just kind of got trained to go the wrong direction. So once I redid it and put it the right direction, it was just still used to going the wrong direction. So it took me a while to train that lock over here, but other than that one, I really didn't have any like major unraveling, especially like I said, not from like the ends of my hair. The roots of my hair is usually what would get like the most loose and kind of undone, but the ends of my hair were still pretty well, and I didn't have to worry about retwisting anything at the bottom. And then the last thing I'm going to talk about is shrinkage. Somebody specifically asked, how do you avoid it? And I'm here to tell you that it's something that you can avoid. That's another one of them things that I had to learn to embrace on my lock journey. Just like if you're a loose natural, when your hair is wet, it's more elongated, but as it dries up, it shrivels up and it shrinks. The same thing is going to happen when you decide to lock your hair. Luckily for me, I didn't start my locks with super long hair, so as they started to shrink, I didn't really notice that much of a difference in regards to appearance. So like obviously when I would style them, I started to notice that certain locks wouldn't reach up to my bun anymore, but other than that, they still kind of look the same to me, and I personally didn't have too many issues with shrinkage other than them not reaching my bun, but I could just bobby pin it. So yes, you can't avoid shrinking, especially if you want your hair to lock. Just kind of have to ride out that shrinkage phase, and then once they start dropping, like, you're gonna be good, you're gonna be happy. So yes, if you are struggling with shrinkage, the only thing I could really recommend is finding styles that kind of camouflage it. If you need any suggestions on styling, check out my lock playlist. I do have a few styling videos in there for you to check out. So yes, that's going to be pretty much it for these videos. This was mainly just like my most frequently asked questions. I wanted to do a video and just clarify everything for you guys in one video. I'm sure I'll probably get more questions, but yes, if you do have any more questions, just leave them down in the comment section and I will do my best to answer them. But until then, I will see you all in my next video. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Snatched by Sharmel, and I will see you all in my next video.
Thank you.